Okay, so I guess we're here now talking about some more trade rumors and ideas thrown out there in the media revolving around Patrick Kane, Chicago Blackhawks superstar, and pending UFA to be. We've been going over the entire story, so check out any of the other videos, I guess, if you want to hear the context as to why Kane is a trade chip, why the Blackhawks might consider trading him. Long story short, he's a good player, they're a bad team, and with his expiration soon at the end of the year, you could see probably a rental situation of him going to some other team in the playoffs and helping them out because Patrick Kane is a pretty talented player. This is where we head over to an article published on Bleacher Report by Adam Gretz on November 15th, 2022. The 5 teams that have the best trade packages to land Blackhawks winger Patrick Kane. Now, of course, there are 5 teams mentioned here and 5 different packages, but I really wanted to focus on one that I saw kind of making its rounds on Twitter that a lot of people that are fans of the team in question really didn't like. And it's the first team that's listed in the article here. It's the New York Rangers. Take a look at what Gretz writes about when it comes to the Big Apple and Patrick Kane. The Rangers have been rumored to be in the Kane market for more than a year now, and they would seem to be a strong fit for the 16-year veteran. And then it kind of goes over their history, Eastern Conference Finals, they have the assets to do it, whatever. The Rangers still have one of the deepest collections of young talent in the league, while also owning 2 first-round picks in the 2023 draft after acquiring a conditional pick from the Dallas Stars for defenseman Nils Lundkvist. That pick is top 10 protected, but given how well the Stars have played this season and how strong they look, the probability of that pick being in the top 10 is low. One of those picks would almost certainly be a starting point for a player like Kane. From there, the Rangers would probably need to add a young talent, which brings us to KAAPO KAKKO. Gretz writes over here that it might seem like a steep price to pay, for a rental especially, but Kakko's production has not yet taken a huge step forward with the Rangers. He turns 22 in February, and he has just 65 career points in 174 games. At some point, a player like that goes from a top prospect to suspect, and we might be getting closer to that point with KAKKO. It would also be a very similar return to what the Flyers received for Giroux, along with the first-round pick. It talks a little bit more about KAAPO KAKKO, comparing him to the Giroux package and Owen Tippett. Add in somebody like Ryan Reaves to offset some salary, and have the Blackhawks retain Kane's salary, and that seems like a winning package. Now, this is where things get kind of interesting, because I saw a lot of Rangers fans really not liking this idea, and I saw a lot of Blackhawks fans at the same time not liking this too. And it all comes down to a few of the same things that we've been seeing over the past few years. That when it comes to the kids, Lafreniere, KAKKO, nobody in Rangers Nation seems to want to be touching these guys at all in any sort of a trade. And especially when you talk about a guy like Patrick Kane, who is only going to be sticking around for a few months after the trade deadline and into the playoffs, there's even less consideration I see amongst Rangers fans that are going out there saying, yeah, why would we trade away the future in a guy like Lafreniere or KAKKO for a guy who's only going to be here for a few months? We're not going to do that. Why would we do that? KAAPO KAKKO is the future. Lafreniere is the future. And when it comes to the Chicago Blackhawks side of things, I'm seeing a lot of Blackhawks fans saying, yeah, no, that's not enough for Kane. What are you, nuts? Bleacher Report, come on, man. Ryan Reaves, KAKKO in a first? Like, you gotta be pulling my leg here. KAAPO KAKKO is not all too great. We just got rid of Kirby Dach. What do you mean we're going to be getting rid of Patrick Kane for a guy that also has been struggling so far throughout his NHL career? That's nuts, man. Bleacher Report, get out of here. And I say this all the time, but it always appears to me that the trades that seem the most fair are the ones that piss off both of the fan bases involved. When you have Chicago Blackhawks fans saying that Reaves a first and KAKKO is not enough for Kane, and that KAKKO is not really an asset that they would value too much in a trade like that in the first place, and when you also have New York Rangers fans saying that they're not touching a guy like KAKKO in any sort of trade, it makes for some interesting conversation fodder, because at the same time, I mean, Gretz brings up an interesting point that articulates why this trade idea sort of makes more sense than less, because it is sort of similar to what Claude Giroux was able to get the Flyers when they traded him over to Florida at the end of last season. Owen Tippett, the draft picks, etc. Tippett was a guy that also was sort of struggling, and it's even written about in the article here how similar Tippett and KAAPO KAKKO's overall projections and point productions have been. The article talks about how Tippett was a recent top 10 pick that was scoring at a nearly identical rate to Kakko at the same point in his career. As of publication, Kakko has averaged a 14-goal and 31-point pace over 82 games for his career. Tippett has averaged an 82-game pace of 14 goals and 30 points. So yeah, it's exactly the same, which is unfortunate because Tippett was not a second overall guy and he was actually taken a few years earlier to Kakko, but at the same time, it makes sense more so than not when you really think about why this package is being put together in the way that it is. And then, of course, you have Ryan Reaves that adds on a little bit more salary right there. Reaves is making $1.75 million a season until the end of this year. And, I mean, look, when you have a trade like this, when you're trying to trade away a guy that is an absolute superstar game changer in Patrick Kane, it kind of feels to me like a guy like Ryan Reaves doesn't move the needle at all to make it work. Like, I get it, salary is salary and you're gonna have to move some money, but like, Ryan Reaves, there is probably another guy or two that you can trade that adds more value for Chicago that makes them actually feel a little bit better about this. I mean, Ryan Reaves, no disrespect to the guy, but it's Ryan Reaves. The Chicago Blackhawks don't really have any need for this, and if they are going to get on a guy that the Rangers would probably deem as somebody they wanted to trade away in the first place, I feel like that actually adds some more negative value to the trade too. We had already seen some more trade rumors and reports indicating that Ryan Reaves' time with the Rangers might be coming to an end here, and so for Chicago, there's bargaining power there. Okay, you guys want to get rid of this guy? Well, if you're going to add him onto our trade for Patrick Kane, then give us another pick. Give us a second. Give us another third and a fourth. Make it a first, Kakko, Reaves, and a few extra things, because you're sending over a player in Ryan that we just don't really have a need for, and that you don't have a need for either. This is just a salary type of move. And furthermore, I mean, I haven't been watching too many Rangers games, so if any Rangers fans are out there watching this video, then let me know in the comments, is Ryan Reaves really that bad? We know that he was acquired by the Rangers for a reason. We know that he had a role in this team that was pretty well defined, and that he fulfilled that role in some capacity throughout the past few years. In Vegas, he was that agitator. In New York, he was that agitator. And of course, in St. Louis, he was the agitator too. What is up with Ryan Reaves and his overall play this season? Is it really that bad that all of a sudden now it's like, okay, yeah, we got to trade this guy? Like, it's just not working. Let me know your thoughts in the comments about Ryan Reaves as well as the rest of this trade proposal. But also, if you're a Chicago Blackhawks fan, what other younger pieces would you be interested in instead? It's very apparent that Kakko and Lafreniere are two players that the Rangers fans don't want to touch. And even though they might not be all too great on paper when you take a look at the stats, there are probably some other names that many Rangers fans would be a little bit more inclined to departing with than the big two names on the club. Do you talk about a guy like Brennan Othman? Do you talk about a Braden Schneider? There are some other younger pieces the Rangers have drafted over the past few years that I am a very big believer in. And so, if you're a Chicago fan, who amongst the crop would you be interested in the most in a Patrick Kane type of trade? And then, of course, there are first-round picks and stuff that are going to be included there because that's by default. But either way, the link will be in the description if you want to go ahead and read the article on Bleacher Report. There are 4 other packages that are highlighted in this same piece, so I guess we're going to have to make some more videos over the next few days talking about Patrick Kane. At the same time, though, I feel like I'm not really that best of a YouTuber when it comes to keeping up with my word because I end up not making videos about things that I say I want to make videos about. I mean, that comes with the territory. When you make 3 videos a day, it's your full-time job, and there are other topics that you feel are interesting enough to talk about. But either way, thoughts in the comments. If you're a Blackhawks fan, what are your thoughts about Patrick Kane going over to the Rangers specifically, and for whatever return that we have discussed over here? Kakko, Reaves, and a first. If you're a Rangers fan, thoughts on trading away those assets for a guy like Patrick Kane. Do you like it? Do you not like it? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.